Breathtaking album, unexpected reunions, and complete chaos. There is another instance of the Swift-Kelce universe. First, comedian Andrew Santino goes from making fun of Taylor Swift to chatting her up at a Chiefs game. This is the first of his many hilarious moments. An example of what we refer to as a redemption arc is this. In the meantime, Travis Kelce's most recent advertising campaign allows him to transform a Raiders fan from a diehard fan to a hype man. There is a lot of energy, drama, and irony. Swift-Kelce has achieved cinematic perfection with this work. Swifties, on the other hand, are in full detective mode, dissecting the life of a showgirl in order to unearth every hidden soundbite and Easter egg. All the way from the smooth grooves of George Michael to the chaos of Pixie's Level. Moreover, Travis and Jason Kelce have just released a massive podcast bombshell that has fans going in a completely different direction. This is happening on new heights. Today's guest is a Canadian actor who stands 6 feet 4 inches tall. However, according to the New York Times, he is the 4th best actor of the 21st century. In the meantime, Stephen Colbert enters the fray and hilariously defends Taylor's new album against the criticism, thereby transforming every mixed review into pure comedy gold. This group of reviewers is simply envious of her talent, as well as the majestic redwood that Travis Kelce has created. And now, at long last, the rumor mill is turning once more. It has been reported that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift have quietly rekindled their legendary friendship among A-list celebrities. Picture this for a moment. Arrowhead Stadium is a pulsating location. The Chiefs are currently playing the Lions, and those who are casually hanging out in Taylor's VIP suite are probably wondering who they are. Santino Andrew is completely freaking out. That's right, the same individual who just a few weeks ago made a joke about how he wouldn't even bother to look at the guest list for the wedding of Taylor and Travis. What a surprising turn of events. This is the comedian who made the statement that Taylor guards that list as if it were Fort Knox. At this very moment, he is seated directly next to her. Certainly, as they proceed through the list, she will eventually reach Santino and say something along the lines of, "I don't know, dude." Swifties went completely insane on the internet, calling him everything from sarcastic to downright disrespectful at various points. It appeared as though Andrew Santino had no chance of being redeemed at that point in time. On the other hand, fast forward to Sunday, and there he is, smiling alongside the most famous pop star in the world as if they had been friends for years at brunch. Taylor, who had just released her 12th studio album titled The Life of a Showgirl, was back in her signature hideout in Arrowhead. As is her custom, she moved stealthily like a CIA agent, sneaking into the stadium without being discovered. To everyone's surprise, she made her appearance on the broadcast in the middle of the first quarter, where she shared a heartwarming embrace with Papa Kelce and laughed with WNBA legend Caitlin Clark. A man named Andrew Santino, who appeared to be desperately trying to demonstrate that he is no longer in the Swiftie doghouse, was standing right next to her. Witnesses have reported that Taylor was very happy. The look on Santino's face suggested that he had just been released from the confines of the fan outrage prison. Naturally, the internet went into a frenzy, analyzing the VIP seating chart as if it were a secret message from the inner circle of Swift-Kelce. In the meantime, it appears that Travis Kelce is giving out redemption arcs similar to those that Oprah gives away cars, and this time it is found in his most recent advertising campaign. A diehard Raiders fan who has spent years roasting him online as if it were a full-time job squares off against our beloved tight end in the commercial for his favorite energy drink. This troll is one of the most vehement opponents of our tight end. Instead of clapping back, Travis flips the script and greets his hater with pure charm and a free can of Accelerator. This is the twist that makes the story unexpected. If I'm being completely honest, that is even more shocking than the Chiefs pulling off a trick play on 4th down. During the beginning of the advertisement, the fan admits that they have been calling Kelce overrated, washed, and the internet's favorite insult because she is not even in the top 5. Suddenly, Kelce appears in his direct messages, DMs, out of nowhere, to send him free samples of energy drinks. Not to start a beef with him is the goal. Isn't that a brave move? A fan gives it a try, and all of a sudden, there is an instant conversion. After just one sip, he goes from saying that Kelce is terrible to saying that she is fantastic. The next thing you know, the advertisement cuts to the two of them lounging on a couch, laughing like old college friends, and drinking Accelerator as if it were the official beverage of world peace. At one time, we were enemies, but now we are the best of friends. It is assimilated by the internet. According to TikTokers, this is the best public relations move that has been made since Ryan Reynolds sold Aviation Gin. To tell you the truth, they are not incorrect. According to those with knowledge of the situation, the entire situation is a part of a cheeky upgrade your energy campaign that is intended to make both the brand and Kelce appear effortlessly cool and surprisingly human. Totally successful completion of the mission. And while we're on the subject of missions, Taylor Swift is currently serving her own mission with the album Life of a Showgirl, which has transformed Swifties into music detectives who are fueled by espresso. These supporters are not merely listening, rather, they are conducting research. If you were to look at the way they are analyzing each beat, you might think that the FBI has established a Taylor Swift division. Now, don't you think that this sounds familiar? Online, they are whispering. In addition, there is a good chance that it does. However, this is done on purpose. Taylor didn't merely utilize music samples, she added it in at the end. Taking a song that you already enjoy and turning it on its head in order to make it sound completely different is what the music industry refers to as remixing. You could think of it as a couture edition of musical recycling. Those with knowledge of the situation have confirmed that the only officially credited interpolation is from George Michael's father figure, which is an excellent fit for the nostalgic and seductive storytelling era that Taylor was a part of. Moreover, if we are being completely honest, Taylor Swift is the only person who has the ability to transform father figure into a heartbreaking emotional ballad that causes you to question your very existence. The Swifties, on the other hand, are not going to believe that it is just one. Eldest Daughter has been compared to White Horse, Ruin the Friendship has been compared to a classic by Lenny Kravitz, and Actually Romantic has been compared to what sounds like a Pixies meets teenage dirtbag fever dream. They have gone into full forensic mode. It's almost as if every musical style that has been popular over the past 4 decades was thrown into a blender, and Taylor appears to be the barista behind the counter, smiling and saying, "Trust me, you're going to love it." The Kelce brothers said, "Hold our mics," because Travis and Jason just dropped a massive bombshell that sent both sports fans and Hollywood stands into meltdown mode. This came at a time when fans believed that the Swift-Kelce universe could not possibly expand any further. The performance of Keanu Reeves has reached new heights. In other words, John Wick himself is going to be entering the Kelce mode. As chaotic as it could possibly be, the reveal was the pinnacle of chaos. Keanu is made to feel as though he is about to enter the Royal Rumble by Jason, who is carrying out his signature WWE-style introduction, 6 feet 1 inch tall, Canadian, possibly immortal, and one of the most coolest people you've ever encountered. Yes, it is official. The cinematic universe of Kelce Swift has reached a multiverse level of development. Today's guest is a Canadian actor who stands 6 feet 4 inches tall. Although he is ranked as the 4th greatest actor of the 21st century by the New York Times, he is actually the #1 actor. After that, he outstretched Keanu Reeves in the teaser, giving the impression that he had just finished saving the world once more before casually dropping by the studio. A joke is told by him about the Chiefs' chances of winning the Super Bowl. And of course, Travis Kelce seizes the opportunity with a self-assured grin on his face. At the moment, the team is in full swing, just a smile from Keanu. That serene, mystical, and proud father energy that emanates from him, as if he were enjoying the sight of his child hitting a home run in Little League. The atmosphere where pure bromance and caffeinated chaos collide. This is the kind of crossover energy that you didn't realize you needed until it actually struck. Victory in the Super Bowl. The internet, of course, experienced a complete and utter crisis. As a result of the chaos, fans flooded the comments section. A portion of them are yelling about how the Kelce brothers collect A-listers like Pokemon cards, while the other portion of them are demanding to know what kind of dark magic their booking agent is employing. According to the joke of one of the fans, they must have sacrificed a Lombardi trophy in order to get Keanu. Sincerely, it's not a terrible theory. Insiders, however, claim that the Keanu episode is more than just a flex. It is a declaration. A fun podcast with a locker room vibe, New Hype has evolved into a full-fledged cultural powerhouse. And this event marks yet another significant step in that evolution. Beginning with lighthearted banter about football in 2022, the show has since skyrocketed to the point where it has broken Guinness World Records for the most live viewers ever recorded. In addition, that guest list is completely unreasonable. We are talking about LeBron James, The Rock, Jimmy Fallon, Adam Sandler, and of course, Taylor Swift herself, whose appearance to talk about the life of a showgirl was so popular that it almost caused the internet to crash. With Keanu Reeves joining the cast, New Heights is no longer merely a podcast. It has evolved into something more. It is a vast colony. Every week, it's as if they spin a massive wheel with the question, who's cooler than us? And for some reason, it always lands on the names that are the most appropriate. And while Travis and Jason are out here collecting A-listers like it's a sport, Stephen Colbert has officially entered the chat. This is happening in the late night land where the conversation is taking place. Additionally, it is evident that he has been drinking tea with a showgirl flavor. In order to discuss what has become the most significant pop culture courtroom case of the week, Colbert took a break from the usual political circus that he hosts on The Late Show, which airs every Monday night. Taylor Swift, titled The Life of a Showgirl, is receiving a variety of reactions and reviews. Evidently, not everyone is submitting themselves to the authority of the Queen of Sparkle. As for Colbert, he was not going to have it. The world was reminded of the most important rule on the internet, which is that you should never mess with Taylor Swift. He came out swinging like a knight defending his monarch. The hilarious implication that Colbert made was that the critics are green with envy, that they are envious of Taylor's ability to write heartbreak, drop cryptic hints, dominate the charts, and still date a man built like a redwood. To answer your question, yes, in true Colbert fashion, he may or may not have made a cheeky reference to that infamous lyric from Wood. The crowd went absolutely crazy, laughter, applause, and possibly even a few Swifties, and tears of vindication were exchanged during the performance. There was a point in time when Colbert made the comparison between Travis Kelce's construction in a national park. He stated that, in his words, "That's not a man, that's protected land." This group of reviewers is simply envious of her talent as well as the majestic redwood that Travis Kelce has created. It was the most absurd and flawless mental picture that he could conjure up. A group of protesters are currently camped out in the branches of the majestic redwood, also known as Travis Kelce, in order to ensure that it is never cut down. By that time, the entire studio had already been evacuated. There is a reverberation of laughter, Swifties are cheering, and Colbert is smiling as if he has just delivered the most hilarious punchline of the year. In order to prevent it from being cut down, there were protesters up in the branches, sequoia trees. It has been around for close to 2,000 years. Colbert was able to transform a lyric by Taylor Swift into a public service announcement about climate change. To tell you the truth, we have to show respect for the hustle. Nevertheless, just as Swifties were finishing their howls over his majestic redwood sermon, the universe made the decision to announce yet another twist that was taken directly from the Swift multiverse. Blake Lively, who was her former co-star in the show Gossip Crime, also appears in this one. In other words, it appears that the era of blonde best friends may be making a comeback in the business world. After someone on a particular celebrity podcast revealed that Taylor and Blake were seen hanging out once more, rumors began to circulate like wildfire, according to those who are familiar with the situation, as if the entire world were not watching. There was no paparazzi circus, no red carpets, just two icons catching up with each other. And to tell you the truth, the timing couldn't be more perfect, especially after Blake got caught up in that messy It Ends With Us lawsuit controversy with co-star Justin Baldoni, which mysteriously managed to drag Taylor's name into the gossip tornado. Fans had been wondering if there was a little frost in the friendship. This was especially the case after Blake started getting involved in the lawsuit drama. It was only natural that the internet went into full FBI mode. Almost overnight, Swifties transformed themselves into private investigators, analyzing everything from Blake's lack of social media activity to Taylor's friendship bracelets, as if it were a secret message from the Central Intelligence Agency. Then, the clue that caused the internet to go crazy appeared. During Blake's London premiere the previous year, fans noticed that Taylor was wearing a Lorraine Schwartz bracelet that appeared to be suspiciously similar to the one Blake wore the previous year. Is it a coincidence? I beg you. Hey, my name is Taylor Swift. Within her world, there is no such thing as a coincidence. In the context of track 13, everything is either a symbol, a signal, or a sign. The fans of Taylor Swift are now convinced that it was her way of subtly expressing "we're good, bestie," mainly due to the fact that even her accessories have developed their own personalities at this point. One of her new songs, which is rumored to be called Candle, has everyone whispering that it is not just about public backlash, but also about forgiveness and second chances. This adds even more fuel to the fire. In addition, fans are connecting the dots faster than conspiracy theorists on double espresso, given the recent chaos that Blake has been experiencing. One thing is certain, these two have been together for a very long time, regardless of whether it is true or just another instance of Swifties going full CSI Friendship Edition. Taylor is effectively the godmother of Blake and Ryan Reynolds' daughters, and their previous get-togethers have been reminiscent of crossover episodes that have been combined with folklore. If this reunion is indeed the real deal, then the internet had better brace itself, because the dynamic and fast-paced world of cinema may just be about to undergo a refreshing reboot. And if that is the case, then it is about to completely disrupt the timeline once more. And with that, folks, that wraps up this episode. In the ever-expanding Swift-Kelce multiverse, where nothing remains quiet for an extended period of time, we will see you again soon.